Hi, I'm Scott and I'm an American in Bangkok. Today I'll be speaking about moving to Thailand. This is a two-part episode. So let's get right to it. There's 10 things that I want to go over. The first, rushing a move to Thailand is a recipe for disaster. You know, you really want to take your time and prepare yourself the best that you can. And first, before you even decide to make a move, you need to understand why it is that you want to come here. Because, first of all, you may not really want to come and move here. You may want to spend a year here or a year or two, and then you want to go somewhere else or you want to go back. So before committing yourself, I think you need to figure out what it is you really want. You know, don't come here for the women. And I'll tell you that right now. Don't come here just to get laid. When you come here as a tourist, you're going to see Thai women probably in a different light than if you're living here. You may see them completely different as Western women. And in some ways they are, and they always will be. However, the longer that you stay here, you'll see they're not always the sweet, kind, loving, super polite, and docile creatures that you may think. They may be that, and but they're human beings, and they're capable of so much more than what some men give them credit for when they come here. And if you only want to get laid when you come to Thailand, how long can you do that before you get tired of it? You can do that, it'll just cost you a bit of money. But if you really want a decent Thai woman, it's going to take some time. It's like anywhere else. Usually, if you want a relationship to last, or you want to have a better chance, let's put it that way nowadays, you want to take your time. You don't want to hurry. There's no real rush, okay? So, and the thing is you take the time, and that helps weed through the riffraff, okay? Because you're going to find that, just like you would find in the U.S. or Europe or wherever, okay? Second, take a couple of trips to Thailand just as a vacation, okay? After a few times, you'll start to see things a little bit differently. Travel around the country, see the sights, get to know the people, see how they are, and then after several vacations, you can decide, hey, you know what? Maybe I would like to live here. Then you have a base to build upon. Okay. My plan was to stay here for a year. I figured I'll stay in Thailand for a year. I had come 5 or 6 times beforehand, and finally I said, I got a bit of money. I'll come here. I'll have a little stash when I go home in case things don't work out. Then I got some money. I can go back home and I'll just start over again. But don't commit yourself right away to I'm going to live here for the rest of my life. I think it's just too much. So number 3, take 12 months or 6 months, 6 months to 12 months to live here and really figure out if you want to stay here, like if you want to retire or you want to start a business here or whatever it is, you want to stay here for the long term. I highly suggest that you learn to speak Thai. You don't have to speak fantastic Thai, but learning the basics is helpful in my opinion. There are some people who say, oh, you should never learn how to speak Thai. And personally, I think it's important. And the reason I think it's important is, first, I don't always tell people I speak Thai. I will sit there and listen, and they don't think I speak a word of Thai, and I'll listen to everything that they're saying. Sometimes they say things that are embarrassing to them, which is kind of funny, and sometimes they say things that are not so nice, and then I know this is not the kind of person I want to do business with, or that I don't want to be here anymore, or whatever. But at least you have that edge. And then if you want to speak to them, if you speak good Thai, When you're speaking English, they're definitely at a disadvantage, but they may not understand a word you're saying, okay? Or they may understand a word out of every 20 words that you're saying. But if you can speak Thai to them, and you speak it well, you can communicate to them on their level, and you can make them feel like dirt if you need to. You can explain your situation and not put up with anything because you're speaking in Thai. Because a lot of times they think that because you speak English, you don't understand anything about the culture or about, and you know, rightly so, because most guys, they come here and they don't, you know, or most women also. Anyway, now, number 4, when you're on your vacations, take a little bit of time out of, you know, at least 1 or 2 of your trips and start looking around for places to live. Start talking to people and saying, hey, do you know any apartments? Whether it's Thai friends that you have, Thai girlfriends, other expats. You can look online, but a lot of times if there are apartments online and they're in English, they tend to be higher priced than would be if you were to just walk in, or if you were just to find a place walking on the street. That's the other thing, is that if you know there are certain areas that have apartments, if that's what you want, if you don't want to buy a condo or try to get into a house or something, there are places where there are a lot of apartments. So you can simply walk around, go in, and most of the people, even if they don't speak much English at all, they understand, do you have an apartment? Because they understand that that equates money. So, you know, walking around is another great way. And it's hot and it's sticky and sometimes it's miserable. But you can take a motorbike. I've done that before. I've taken a motorbike from place to place. I've asked the motorbike driver, hey, can you help me out? And they'll take me to different places. And I'll say, no, I want better than this. Oh, okay, I'll take you somewhere else. So, you know, that's useful. And that way, by the time, if you do decide to come for 6 or 12 months, you should have a couple of ideas of places that are acceptable. You know, I'm not going to get into the specifics of moving in and getting your electric hooked up and your internet and all that kind of thing. That should be in the next episode. So let's go on to number 5. Before you move here, you should understand something. Thailand is cheaper in some ways than in the West, but it is not cheap. If you want a standard of living that's going to be close to what you have in the US or in Europe or wherever, Australia, wherever, you're going to pay. You know, if you think you're going to get a 2-bedroom apartment that is furnished and it's brand new and there's a big screen TV and you're going to get it for 5,000 baht, that's not going to happen. Okay, you're going to pay. You're going to pay maybe 13,000, 15,000. That's $500. It's cheaper, and Thailand can be much cheaper in some areas. For instance, buying street food is very cheap. But if you go to the grocery, listen, I go to the grocery and I buy a gallon of milk, and it's like $6.20 or something. You know, it costs. I go buy some cheese, it's $4. You know, for a little pack of processed cheese. Macaroni and cheese, I think, is you know, $2.50, something like that. So for a little box, I mean, it's not much. So you know, let's see. Let me think of something else. Oranges. I buy some oranges from Australia, which personally, coming from Florida, I prefer Florida oranges. But they have oranges from Australia. You get 6 oranges, and maybe it's what is it, 100 baht or something like that. I mean, you know, you get apples sometimes. Sometimes the apples and the oranges, they run a buck each. That's not expensive, but don't kid yourself and think, you know, you're going to pay pennies on the dollar, because that's not going to happen. Sometimes you will pay 50 cents on the dollar. Sometimes you'll pay $1.25 for something that costs you $1 at home. Okay, so understand that. That's number 5. And one thing is, in the video that I made a while back, it's can you live in Thailand on a $500 budget? I mentioned how even an inexpensive Casio watch, was 5,000, 6,000 baht, something like that. And I just happened to be walking by the watches yesterday, and I looked in at a Casio, and I saw one Casio, it was 4,500 baht. I saw another one, it was 9,000 baht. Now, 9,000 baht is, 300 bucks. So that's not expensive for a watch. But if you're living on a limited budget, and in this case it was $500, which is very limited, and you're going to buy a $300 watch, well, there goes half your income, or half your budget for the month, and that's not good. So Thailand is a little bit more expensive than you might think. Okay. And let's see. Oh, you go to a sushi restaurant, it might cost you 40 bucks for 2 people, depending on where you go. My wife and I, we bring our kids sometimes to a Vietnamese restaurant down the street, and almost without fail, we spend 40 bucks for the 4 of us. And it's not like we eat a huge amount. We'll get maybe 2 bowls of soup, and we'll get some spring rolls, and maybe 2 meals, and then maybe a dessert, and it's 40 bucks. Not really expensive, but you spend 40 bucks. For Thailand, people would think that's expensive, considering that you can go down the street and have a meal at some little place for $1 or $1.50 US. That's 30 to 45 baht or so. Okay. Now, one thing that really bugs me is that when people come here, they've been here for 2 days. They've got some girl that they met, and they're professing their love for each other, and they're telling me how Thailand is the greatest place on earth. It has a lot of positives, and it's a great place to live, and it's laid back, which is what really attracts me. I like people don't mess with me, they leave me alone, I do my own thing, and I like that. They're not very aggressive, which I don't like at all. Visiting and living here are much different, and that goes for anywhere. That's not just a Thai thing. The things that when you're on a vacation, you give a guy a couple bucks tip, and he kind of expects it, and he really shouldn't, but he does. Or there's other things too, but you don't let those things bother you because you're on a holiday. Hey, I'm here to have fun, man. I'm gonna party, I'm gonna go out, I'm gonna see this, do this, me and my girl are gonna do this, whatever. Okay. But when you're living here, like if I'm in a taxi and I give a guy 78 baht, or the fare is 78 baht, and I give him 100 baht, I don't give him 22 baht as a tip. Thais don't do that. I mean, if I did, it was because this guy was something extraordinary, and we had some rapport that I just went, you know what, I'll give this guy a couple bucks, man. This guy's really cool. Most of the time, I don't establish any kind of rapport with my taxi driver. It's just get me to point A, from point A to point B safely. That's all I want. So if the fare was 78 baht and I gave him 100 baht, I expect him to give me 20 baht back. Okay? If he doesn't give me the 20 baht back, I will go, hey, give me my money. And if they say, I don't want to hear it, man, give me my money. It's like, I don't put up with that. I'm sorry, it's only 20 baht, but it's 20 baht here, 20 baht there, 20 baht here, 20 baht there, and then all that adds up. And the Thais don't do that, so why should I? I don't care what anybody says. Yes, I'm a Farang. Yes, I live in their country. But, if there's a price, I want to pay the price. I don't want to pay a premium because I've got white skin, okay? And, I got kids here They have Thai blood in them. To me, especially since we're paying into the school system and I spend a lot of money here, I don't think that, excuse me, I need to be paying extra. Okay? It's just my opinion. All right. So now, number 7. Be careful what you wish for. As noted by a post that I read a day or two ago, it takes a special kind of person to live in Thailand. If you're going to cry about, walking through a foot of water when it floods, if you're going to cry about the heat, and I don't like the heat, but, hey man, I don't mind. And if I sweat, I sweat. That's life. What am I supposed to do? I'm going to say to my body, you can't sweat? It doesn't work that way. So you just deal with it. But if you're going to complain about how the Thais do this and they do that, which I'll complain, but it doesn't matter. It's just me letting off steam. But if it really does matter to you and it bothers you that much to where you don't like it here, then, you just go somewhere else. Find somewhere else to live. Go back home. Find another country that's more geared towards your personality. Because despite what everybody says, Thailand is not geared towards everybody's personality. Sometimes things don't get done like they should. They don't get done when they should. They don't get done, period. Or, like the other day I made the video about the cellular phone. Sometimes, you're sitting there and you're going, hey, I need some help. And some girl's sitting on the phone and she's pissed off because you're asking her to get off her ass and do some work. And you know what? I don't care. Get off your ass. That's the way I look at it. Okay? I say get off your ass, but in the end of the day, it's like, I just expect it. But I also expected, I'm going to say, get off your ass and help me. It's simple as that. So, okay, number 8. The longer you stay, the harder it is to go back. I know this as a fact for myself because I'll be 51 in a month. And I would hate to go back to the United States, especially now. Okay? If you're 24 years old or 25 years old, you got your whole life ahead of you. You can start over again if you want to. You can come in and you're the low man on the totem pole and it might not bother you that much. You could teach English here for a year or two and then go back home. No big deal. Now, I go back home at 51 or, say 60, and, a lot of places they're going to be like, sorry, we want somebody young that can grow with the company. Or it's like I'll be working at McDonald's or Walmart or whatever. Or what I usually do is I try to find a way to make my own money without somebody else, without working for a company. I work for myself. And to me, that's the answer to that. So, now, number 9 is something that I wrote down a while back on my website, and I really believe it, okay? Your problems, your fears, your flaws, and all of your positive traits go with you no matter where you are. They follow you forever. Going abroad may be the answer for some, or it may be the beginning of a string of problems for others. But make no mistake, this is what I gotta deal with sometimes. They drive by and announce they're selling food or whatever at the end of the block, or if it's that big of a deal, I'll go home. Anyway, let me start again. Your problems, your fears, your flaws, and all of your positive traits are always with you, no matter where you go. They follow you forever. Going abroad may be the answer for some, or it may be the beginning of a string of problems. But make no mistake, if you're not in paradise at home, you will never find paradise abroad. Very few people have problems at home and aren't happy at home and come to Thailand and are completely happy. Because if you're not happy, there's got to be a reason for it. So, you know, you might as well take care of the root cause before you decide to move somewhere else. Because you could move from, you know, New York to Newark. Well, there's a move. It doesn't mean that you're going to be happy because you made it. Or you can move from New York to Bangkok. There's a move. It doesn't mean you're going to be happy. So, you know, generally, if you're a happy person and you move somewhere and you're fairly stable, you know, you'll be a happy person wherever it is you are. You know, some people, like I said, they're not geared towards living in Thailand. Some people like the Philippines. Some people like living in Hong Kong or Singapore. You know, I couldn't live in Singapore. It would drive me crazy, okay? Number 10, come with more money than you think you'll need and spend less than you think you should. Be prepared to take a year to network and to start earning a living. Expect success, but be prepared for failure. That's about it, all right? I mean, you know, you got to have a fallback plan, and usually what I try to do is I try to tell myself, and I try to remember to always have several revenue streams. If you got a job and you're working as a teacher, or you're working in a company as a sales rep or something, whatever it is, or in a hotel as a trainer, okay, you got one job. Now, while you got that job, try to make some other kind of job, whether it's, you know, you write for magazines on the side or whatever, and then you do something else. You know, maybe your girlfriend has a shrimp farm or something, I don't know. But it pays that plan A, plan B, so you got backups. Especially here, because you're not going to be falling back and going into the unemployment line. Okay? Alright, so that's 10 things. Another long video. I really want it to be under 5 minutes, but I talk too much. So, now, you may or may not know from my last video and from looking at my website that I am currently trying to raise between $4,000 and $5,000 to travel to Myanmar to put together a photojournalism project documenting the conflict between the Rohingya and the Burmese in the Rakhine state of Myanmar. So, if you want to know more, there are some links on my website that tell about what's going on. Please, I really would appreciate it. Consider making a donation. If you like my videos, there's a lot more to come. And, you know, I've got a lot of ideas, a lot of different things to talk about. I get ideas from people all the time, and it's hard for me to keep up sometimes, but they're really good ideas. They stand out. One of them is talking about how to find a good girl. That's, you know, or what to expect when you're with a good girl. That's something that will be done later this week. You know, I still got the Singapore thing. I lost a couple of videos while I was in Singapore, and the main one that I lost is the Indian guy, Darnish, speaking about what it was like working in Singapore. And I'm looking for it. I'm trying to retrieve it. I'm trying to get it off the hard drive, you know, retrieve it from the hard drive, the little memory card or whatever, and I just can't do it, so it's causing a little bit of problems. But anyway, so if you would, please consider making a donation through PayPal. I figured it out. I need to raise about $84 a day to reach my goal of $5,000 in 60 days. That gives me enough money for a fixer, for hotels, which have gone up dramatically in the last year. I mean, they went up from $15 to $45. It's ridiculous. And, you know, you're talking about a 1 or 2 star hotel. So, anyway, and that's for, you know, food, for transportation, for everything. Okay, there's little pieces of equipment that I may or not be able to pay for myself. I am buying equipment. I just bought some equipment yesterday and the day before. So that works out to 200 to 250 people pitching in $20 each. 20 bucks, I know, hey, 20 bucks is 20 bucks, but I'm not asking everybody to pitch in $1,000. I'm gonna put something up that people that put like $20 or $25 or more, they'll get something back. It may be a postcard, maybe a photo print, depending on how much money I raise and how much money I have in the next couple of months and I earn. I may put together some kind of a photo book. I'm just not sure at this point. But I also may put this up on it's called GoFundMe.com. I'm hesitant to do that because they charge an extra 5%. PayPal in some cases charges like 2.9% and I think 30 cents. So if somebody sends me $100, I don't get $100, okay? And then from that $100, the way that it works and the way that I want is I don't want it to just be people giving me money. I want somebody to get something back. Okay, so say they get a framed photo. That framed photo might cost $30, so really I'm only getting $70. Okay, so that's another reason why I'm thinking $5,000, because by the time I'm all said and done, I might only get $4,500. Okay, but the point is that if you value my videos and my blogs and you would like to help me, I would greatly appreciate it if you would consider sending me a donation. You can do it through PayPal. My email address is scottmallon@me.com. And if you have any questions, you can email me at that email address. I have a website with my photos. It's www.scottmallon.net, and the initial page, the home page, is complete. I'm working on the galleries. That's going to take a couple more days. I really wanted to tighten up the site a little bit more. I've spoke to some photographers and photojournalists who I value their opinion. And they've told me a few things, so I'm working on that. But there are definitely some photos up already, and you can take a look at them. And like I said, I'd really appreciate your help. So that's all for now. Please spread the word. Share this video. Share my other videos. Please subscribe if you haven't done so already. Click like. Click my Facebook page. Go to my Twitter, which, by the way, I have two Twitters. I have @ScottMallon, and I also have @AnAmericanInBKK. You understand. Do the whole social media thing. Please help me out. So, chok di lat jerk and my. That's good luck, and see you later.